Oh, what's going on, everybody? The boss, G Funky, is back. Got a nice show planned for you tonight. We got Anthony Peterson. He's going to be joining us here in a few minutes. And I'm also joined by my main man, Sean Gringo Hicks from Long Live Boxing. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, living the dream, brother. Man, it's the holiday season, and we're giving you a great show. Check out Anthony Peterson and talking about the most underrated, underestimated, but never duplicated because no one else has 126. We talk about it tonight. Tune in. Check it out.
Absolutely, man. Those feathers are definitely bright at featherweight. That's for sure. And we're going to dig into that thing tonight, man, because it's a great division with a lot of great matchups. We got my man, Coach Malachi from True Media Today USA in the house. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to be joined by Anthony Peterson here in about 10 minutes or so. And that should be a fun interview because he's been away for a while, and I'm excited to see him back. And he's on a big card too, man. That's the thing. So definitely look forward to getting his input and asking him a lot of questions about what's going on. So let's start this thing, Gringo. Let's start it, man.
Right.
Let's talk this featherweight stuff, man, because you and I both agree. It's probably, in my opinion, like 140. Don't get me wrong. Great division, stacked division. A lot of great fighters there, a lot of potential fights. But we want to talk 126, man. We feel like it's a great division with a lot of great names. A lot of champions are good. The contenders are good. They're all good, man.
Right.
So let's start with this, man. So Gringo, I'm gonna let you go first. Out of all these guys, and I know you probably got the division pulled up somewhere on your computer there.
I'm transparent. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and let me get your top 5 featherweights right now and start with number 5. Go right ahead, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, a lot easier said than done. No pressure. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Okay, I'm gonna say number 5. Man, let's go with Lee Wood at the WBA champion. We know he's also with Leo Santa Cruz, but I'm going Lee Wood. Number 4, Ray Vargas. Do we still have Count Emmanuel Navarrete in 126?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the rules, brother?
I mean, look, he's still listed here as far as what I see.
And actually, wait a minute.
Actually, no, yeah, he is still listed here on BoxRec as a WBO featherweight champion.
Right.
So, but then he was scheduled to fight Valdez, and then Valdez got hurt. So I'm not sure, but let's just keep him there for right now. For argument's sake.
Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that for the love of the game right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say Lee Wood 5, the WBA champion. Ray Vargas is going to be 4. He's a WBC champion. Probably not very popular pick, but I don't care. It's my list. Gringo has at number 3. I have Mauricio El Blanco Lara at number 3. Number 2, while he's still there, man, WBO, I'm going to go Emmanuel Navarrete is going to be number 1. And this guy doesn't have a belt, and I'm going to explain why. But when you guys see this man fight, if you haven't already, to me, he's the clear number 1, Robeisy Ramirez out of Cuba.
Woo, man. I like that. I like that a lot. Look, I like Robeisy as well. He's going to be someone who, when I do my end of the year awards, he's definitely going to be in the list for prospect of the year. But I think he's ready. I think he's ready to fight any of these guys.
Yeah,
yes, he's still young in his career. Matter of fact, let's pull him up. Let's see. He's got 12 fights so far. But he is 29 years old already. Again, Cuban national standout, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. He's ready for any of these guys, man. It's just, again, they're trying to get him some work. They're trying to get him prepared. So I get it, but I mean, geez, I think he can fight with any of these guys
No,
at the top
no,
of the
no,
division.
definitely, brother. Like, I'm definitely drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I'm pouring everybody a cup because he's definitely the goods. And I'll go ahead and say it, man. Sometimes in boxing, they ride the gimmick train, and that's kind of maybe strong terms, but I felt like they had an end because he was a guy that beat Shakur in the Olympics. So I really
Mm-hmm.
thought they had brought him in to be an opponent to allow Shakur to beat him. You know, avenge that win. And it seemed like for a while they were kind of building it up to go in that direction. But because Shakur has moved up so much and he's ascended way past that, it's really not nothing to even really consider. Plus, in his own right, Rubisi Ramirez, even though he lost his first fight, which he actually avenged, he's looked sensational since. And I don't just mean to say that as a superlative. Like, he's truly sensational. Like, he's must watch. And he's one of the reasons why 126 is so exciting to me. Think about it. And it's no disrespect to any of those champions. For me to put him over the champions, strong, confidently, is because I know what he could do. He's a guy, I'm going to go ahead and say it. To me, he has the ability to unify the division. I feel that strong
Mm-hmm.
about it. He could beat all those guys.
Yeah, Run PMC's got a point here too. He says that's what I thought as well, just like they did with Collins' opponent. Yeah, and he's another guy who's got the amateur Olympic pedigree. Now, again, he was a part of a spectacular knockout with Lee Wood. Thank God he was okay. He ended up falling out of the ropes down onto the floor, but
On his head.
yeah, but he's came back strong since then. Two
Yeah,
straight
yeah,
wins
definitely.
since then.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's again another guy that makes this division so good and so stacked is a guy like Michael Collin. So I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to do mine and good stuff. Gringo, let's give him a hand for that. All right, the top
Thank you very much. I'm here all night.
five. Be sure to tip your waitress. All right. But I'll start off with mine. Now, of course, I'm going to have the four champions at the top, right? But I'm going to rank them the way that I see them. And then we'll go from there. So, number 5, this guy I feel like is just outside of the champions. And that's got to be Mauricio Lara. He should have had, I felt like he, was going to end up getting the win in that rematch with Warrington. But we saw what happened there. Again, headbutts, guy was fighting dirty.
I wonder
But
who's fighting dirty. Warrington, never that.
right. So I have him just outside of the rest of the champions here at 126 pounds. And just for fun, I don't know why I had to do this, but Brandon Figueroa, I have him at number 6.
What?
All right.
Oh,
I have
man.
Brandon Figueroa at number 6. So number 4, I'm gonna go with Luis Alberto Lopez. That's
Okay.
who I'm gonna go with. His win against Warrington, I felt was a good win, really good win. He traveled overseas. Again, it all depends on who the fighter is. They give credit to the guy for traveling overseas. Some guys don't get any credit at all, but he traveled overseas, got that win. Okay. Now, Lee Wood, I'll have to go just a little bit before him because again, his win against a really good skilled boxer in Michael Collin, I felt was a very good win for him. And again, coming from behind in that fight, I felt like he was far behind. I felt like he needed a knockout to win that fight, and he did get a knockout. So we got to give him credit for that. Great stuff there. Number 3, I'll go Emmanuel Navarrete, as long as he's there. And again, he's still listed as a champion in this division. Who am I missing here? Who am I missing? Wood
Ray
is the
Vargas.
WBA. Lopez, IBF,
Ray Vargas,
WBO,
WBC.
Navarrete, and then Ray Vargas. Yes, I feel like Ray Vargas right now um, is the guy at 126. The hand speed, the length. He's a little bit awkward as well. Navarrete is right there with the awkwardness. I think he's probably the most awkward guy out of the bunch.
That's fair.
Yeah. So really hard to prepare for a guy like that. But that's the way I see it right there. Potential matchups there in my top 5, and I'll ask you the same, Gringo. Really, the only potential matchups that I see that could happen would be Wood versus Lara, which was supposed to happen. Um, and again, I don't know with Lopez. Usually I've seen him fight on top ranked cards, but he did fight on the zone to get that IBF strap from Warrington. So that's my God, that's probably one of the best matchups in the division. If you ask me personally, Vargas versus Navarrete is a fight that I've been wanting for like the last 3 damn years. They were both champions at 122. Now they're both champions at 126. Let's hope to God that we can get them to fight at some point, man. So, what are some potential matchups in your top five, Gringo, that you think are the best at 126?
Yeah, there's definitely quite a bit, man. But like the one that jumps out at me, that just makes me just sit there and smile and just kind of in the afterglow of that announcement, if that was actually to be made. But honestly, it'd be Mauricio El Blanco Lara versus Robeisy Ramirez. I
Mm.
think would be fantastic as far as like the styles. The boxer, puncher. I mean, but Robeisy can do it all. And then Lara is just like come forward, try to kill you on every punch, try to work the body, and just overwhelm you with power. And he
Yes.
does go with reckless abandon, but at the same time, I mean, his power, he's got some bad intentions behind every punch, especially when he goes to the body. So, I like to see skill versus skill. How would they adapt to one another? It could be he just gets outboxed and doesn't get anything through, but at the same time he could get something through, and how does Robeisy respond? So I would like to see that. The one I've always wanted is Vargas versus Navarrete. I'm surprised
Mm-hmm.
that one hasn't happened. That one seems like a formality to happen. Surprisingly, brother, most people won't say that because I mean he almost died in the fight, and they probably wouldn't recommend it. But I would like to see Conlon versus Lee Wood Part 2. I would like to see that rematch because Conlon won actually winning, and I'm sure he would like that opportunity to avenge that loss. I'm not sure Lee
Mm-hmm.
Wood would give it to him, but I think because he was winning the whole fight, and how could you overcome that demon? Sometimes people say, "Oh, it's a lot easier because you just go in there, you know what you did to beat him," but it didn't work. So how do you overcome knowing that ultimately this person could knock you out? They have that over you. That's something to overcome. So I like that standpoint too. Um, I actually another one that I would really like to see as well. He's still out there. Gary Russell Jr. I like
Mm.
to see Gary Russell Jr. because he's such a boxer versus Robeisy Ramirez. I think that would be beautiful boxing right there, man. I would love to see that. I know we kind of snicker and cringe. I know I do because he fights every lunar eclipse. But
Every
I think
Haley's Comet.
yeah, I think we're due for another Haley's Comet. So let's go ahead and make that fight now. I think we got like another year and a half. So why not? But no, I think skill wise, that would be like phenomenal to watch. I mean, I know that's not everybody's cup of tea or anybody's, considered entertainment, but for me, that's just beautiful boxing. And I would love to see it, the skill, the adjustment, the technique, and just kind of them sharpen each other, making each other better. Iron sharpens iron. So I would love that. And then for my last one, I'll go ahead and say, come on, brother. They have the same manager. I want Mauricio Blanco Lara versus Vaquero Emmanuel Navarrete. I think that's just fireworks, man. Someone's not gonna. One man enters, two men enter, one man leaves. That's what we're talking about right there.
Yes,
Somebody's
sir.
somebody's getting hurt. Someone's getting hurt. So I think to me, 126. Just the fact we can just say that off the top of our head, and that's no disrespect to nobody that we listed. Those are quality entertaining fights that enhance any card, brother. Like any card. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about those fights? They sound pretty good to you?
Fantastic fights, man. And again, because this division is so fire and so stacked, those are all great, man. I love all those matchups. One matchup that is a potential that could potentially happen next year that I think will be a sensational fight as well is a guy who I had just outside of the top five, which was Brandon Figueroa versus Ray Vargas. Oh man, I would love to see that. Both PBC guys. So there's really no reason why that can't happen. And here BoxRec has Figueroa ranked number 2. So man, that's that's one of those things, man. Where it should happen, no doubt about it. Um Now let's continue on, man. Now I know I named my top six, and I said
Mm-hmm.
five. Or I'm breaking the rules.
It's your show. It's your show.
Yes, sir. Um, so give me who's just outside of your top five now. Give me number six, Gringo. Who do you have there?
Um, I know he hasn't fought, and he fought with one arm. He lost to Maxano, but and he lost his belt. He lost that WBC belt. But I'm gonna go ahead and still say it's Gary Russell Jr. Man. It's still Gary Russell Jr. because even with one arm, I mean, we all saw the fight. You know, he almost
In that
won.
fight
He almost
still.
came
Yeah.
back. He started
Yeah.
fighting better. So I mean, it just reminded me of just his skill level. And again, I know it's dismissive and it's easy to kind of make jokes about, oh my God, I just saw him like this, Groundhog Day. It's a Gary Russell Jr. fight. But until he's no longer in the division and he's still considered active, and he still is, I mean, he's still the man. So right after him, real close, the Heartbreaker for sure. I love seeing him. He's definitely exciting. So those two would be my. I guess I'm breaking the rules on your own show. It's like 6 and 6.5.
Yeah, Russell. I agree with you, man. Russell was in that fight. Even with the injury that happened, I believe in round 3.
Right.
And that's why I was so confident when I made my prediction for Vargas versus Magsayo. Because Magsayo to me is one dimensional. He's a power puncher. He's got speed. Don't get me wrong, but he attacks very one dimensionally, very easy to pick up on. And I do believe if Russell remained healthy throughout the entire 12 rounds of that fight, I think he wins it pretty comfortably.
No, yeah,
I would
definitely.
actually love to see that fight again. Like, why not? Because it was a good fight, even with Russell hurt.
Yeah, no, definitely. In fact, that was something I was actually considering when I was going through the potential rematches. And, hey, I still think it would be a good rematch just from the redemption standpoint, even though there's no belt at stake. I think it'd be good for both fighters to vanquish demons for both. You know, I mean, just like we're saying it, I'm sure Maxano and his team hear it. He may be like, man, I beat him. It's not my fault he got injured. I can beat him even if he had both hands. And I don't know, maybe in that fighter, you should feel that way. So I think, and then of course, Gary Russell Jr., he wants to prove that, the injury was the reason he didn't win. And I think that from an entertainment standpoint, it'd be good. You got that built-in storyline, and it'd be a hell of a fight. It'd be a redemption fight for both. I think Maxano lost the belt to Vargas. So I'd be all for that. And it'll be entertaining because that's the thing with Maxano, like when he beat Kano, when he cut him in half, that brother's he's dangerous, man. He does have the thunder in both hands, and he can dig deep. But he doesn't. I don't know what's up with his conditioning. I'm not sure what they're doing, but he seems to be lacking in road work or something because he struggles when he takes hits to the body, and it's just like hard for him to kind of recover. I guess because he extends so much on every punch early on, he's just kind of used to knocking people out. He doesn't really see. He really seems like he trains to fight 6 rounds, to me. And then he just kind of to hang on and rely on his power to maybe win some rounds back. But when I watch him, he seems like conditioning wise, not ability or skill is definitely there, but how they train him is he doesn't seem like a. I didn't expect him to be a long-term champion. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, same for me. My man Iceman in the chat is saying that Russell is done. I think Russell still got some action. I think he's right. I would say right now currently I would have to put, because he got an upset win over Joet Gonzalez in his last fight. You would have to put, at least for me, Isaac Dogbe at number 7 in my opinion, and then Russell at number 8. I still believe Russell can come back, and again, Magsayo coming off of a loss. Russell is coming off a loss, and again, he's approaching another year out of the ring. Just a breaking news there, okay, guys.
Breaking news.
He's approaching another full year, but at least this time we know he's got an injury. Okay, so we can give him a slight pass there with that. But so I had, was it Figueroa 6, 7? I had Dogbe. Number 8, Gary Russell. So where are you at on your list? I think you're at 7 or 8.
I'll go
right?
ahead and I'll round up for those that are viewing and listening. So I had I had Gary Russell at 6, 7. I had the Heartbreaker. 8, I'll say Dog Bay, and 9, I'll say Patufo Diaz.
Mm,
Patufo Diaz is still dangerous. I know people say that he's taking a lot of damage, which he has. That brother's taking a lot of damage, but he likes to battle, man. He likes to bang, and the thing that I appreciate about him so much is like his versatility, man. He can box. He fights good on the inside, but he fights best at middle distance. And I
yeah.
actually think he's better at 122, but because he's gotten older, longer in the tooth, he's campaigning at 126. But he carries the weight well, and he can he's in any fight, man. So like even the guys that I think that's the exciting thing for me. Do you feel like with any of these guys we're listening, let's say our respective top 8, right? Do you feel like it's huge gaps, like they're just like you'd be surprised if anybody, like you feel like somebody's a superior over. I think it's close, kind of in between all of them. You could make an argument because styles make matchups if they're matched up the
Mm-hmm.
right way, the right time. I think those all could factor in one beating the other. Honestly, that's just kind of my
Yeah.
opinion, but that's what makes it so exciting. It's always good to have that clear dominant force, but it's also good to have some parity when it's quality. Because that adds to the excitement and the intrigue of potential matchups.
Yeah. No, that's great stuff there, man. I agree. They're all I don't it's there's really not a whole lot of separation between
Oh,
these guys. All 8 guys I've already listed. Maybe Dog Bay, you know, I feel like he's kind of on the downside of his career, but
that's fair.
his fight with Hoet, it was close, man. And one thing I got to give him respect is that he didn't give up in that fight. I never got the sense that Dogbe was like, "Well, I'm in here with a younger guy, and I could just pack it in and go the distance." But no, he continued to fight, and you know what? That's Hoet's problem is that he doesn't shut the door on guys when he needs to, and that's exactly why he's currently out of my top 10 here at 126. Now he's still a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like he really let one slip away there against Dogbe. So Dogbe is in the top 10 for me, no doubt about it. At number 9, I have the guy who you had pretty highly, Robesio Ramirez Altrin. I love him, man. I think he's to me, he's the dark horse in this division. He really
Right.
is. He's a good boxer. We know he's got the skills. He's again a multi gold medalist winner for Cuba. Not only that, now in this year he's got what 3 knockouts in a row this
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
So,
and I'm a sucker for a knockout. I think we all are. So
hmm
I'm definitely in favor of him being added to any list, and that's the thing. He's must watch to me, and I like the fact that hey, man, he owns it. He knows, even though I think that connotation has kind of wavered as we've moved away and boxing's evolved more, and there's been more fighters coming out of Cuba, that have more professional styles, I guess, more fan friendly, open styles where they're defensive, but they're still offensive as well. Man, when I look at him, the fundamentals, yeah, I do see a Cuban boxer. You can see the technique, his fundamentals are just solid, but he takes chances. He wants to hurt you. He's trying to knock you out, and he's a showman. So I think he's trying to be a part of that new wave to kind of capture the imagination of fans that love boxing, and he's exciting.
yep, he's definitely trying to change that narrative against the Cuban fighters that they're just boring, that they're just runners. You guys know I don't agree with those narratives. But look, he's doing his part to again sit down on his punches, make exciting fights, and go for knockouts, man. And look, he's gotten 3 knockouts in a row, including Nova, who a lot of people were high on. And again, no disrespect to Nova, but he's got to come back to the drawing board, figure some things out. But that was a big win for him in this division because a lot of people were high on Nova, and man, I feel like he really dominated that fight. You know?
No, no, he did, and he dominated my boy too. Who actually he moved up to 130. Um, uh, Orlando Gonzalez out of Puerto Rico.
Mm, mm-hmm.
He beat him on the Fury Wilder 3 card on that undercard. He put him to school, man. He put him through the ringer, and it took a while for Orlando to kind of recover from that because he just got outclassed, and sometimes that happens, and that's the thing because he's not just I'm a pot shot you. I mean, he's putting some heat on there. He's sitting on those punches, so he
Yes,
makes
he
you feel
is.
it. Just like he knocked out Nova cold, you know,
Yeah,
cold.
that was a good knockout, man. And you could put it in there for candidate for knockout of the year, that's for sure.
Hmm.
So rounding up my top 10, the guy who I think is right there, even though he was knocked out in devastating fashion this year. I gotta go Michael Collin, man.
Really?
I got to put him number 10. I feel like, again, he bounced back nicely. He's gotten a couple of stoppages, I believe, since then.
Yep.
And again, I believe in his skills, man. I think he's a very skilled boxer, like stay on the outside, work off the jab. Again, he's got the amateur and the Olympic background. And again, he was beating Wood in that fight.
He was.
We have to remember that. I know. Shout out to my man Dwyer, who's been on YouTube probably just as long as me, if not longer. But he's quoted saying, "Knockouts give fans amnesia," and they do a lot of time. And I think in this case that happened because if we go back and look at that fight, he was winning that fight
Yeah, that's what.
pretty clearly.
Yeah, and that's part of what made it so dramatic because it was
Mm-hmm.
a true, and that's not often in our sport. It was a comeback victory. He needed the knockout, like you said, and he got the knockout in a dramatic way. But credit to Colin because he was still engaging. He got caught, got up against the ropes, and then he was literally out of there, out of the ring, and just nothing like it. Now that being said, so you're high on Conlon, and we talked about the matchups, and I said that was definitely one I'd like to see. What do you think? All right, put on your I'm the corner man, the boss hat. You're representing Conlon. Do you take that fight? Do you think he can overcome those demons? Why or why not?
Against who? Who did you say
Lee Wood,
against them?
the rematch.
I think he can. I do, man. I feel like to me, he doesn't look like a fighter that's how should I say this? Scarred, I guess, from
Mm-hmm.
that knockout. I feel like in his last performance against well, not his last, but his performance after that knockout against Mariaga, I felt like he looked himself. And that's what I often look at when fighters when they either take a loss or in his case get knocked out very dramatically, falling through the ropes. Um, he didn't look to me like someone who was like I have to change so many things, because again, I know I might sound like a broken record, but he was winning that fight doing what he does, and that's box. And he said, you know what, that's me. I'm a boxer. I'm gonna live and die by boxing. And he came back and really, to me, I think he won every single round of that Mariaga fight. He just had a fight a couple weeks ago where I believe he got the stoppage in like 2 or 3 rounds,
Yep,
something like
yep.
that.
True.
So he's looked good since then, man. And I do think that he would continue to give Lee Wood problems if they were to fight again. But Lee Wood's got problems of his own because I think Mauricio Lara is knocking on the door.
Yeah, that brother's got problems. That definitely's got time. Speaking about problems, man, I think it just serves. If we're gonna talk about 126, we gotta talk about the whole thing. I love your passion for boxing, your commitment to break the sweet science down, talk about the ins and outs of the sport. And you know what I love your passion? Like you do not hold back when you feel like somebody has disrespected the sport. Your opinion, your passion, your thoughts, your beliefs on whatnot. Explain to us, describe to us Josh Warrington and what he's done for boxing and why you're so glad he came up short on his last fight. Because when you start talking about him, you turn into a different G Funky, man. So I'm gonna let you have the floor on your own show. But I love this brother. Just unleash the beast.
Well, I did go on a little bit of a rant after the Lopez fight because I felt like he was fighting dirty. And this is not the first time that I've seen him fight this way, and it just bothers me, man, because I look at this sport from a competitive perspective. I know some fans are like, I want to look at it from a fan. Some people like to look at it from the business. Me, I look at it as a sport and that these guys, they want to become champions. And when I see a guy who intentionally tries to headbutt his opponent to cause a cut in the fight, that to me is like one of the worst things that you can do as a fighter because what you could potentially be doing to your opponent is damaging them for good, you know? Some guys get cut and it just never the same anymore. Again, you're going to get scar tissue. It's going to get sewn up. You're going to get scar tissue there. We've seen it a lot in fighters' careers where they suffer a bad cut and they are a bleeder, notoriously bleeding every fight after that. And that's the problem I have with guys like that. Some people can try to justify it as oh well, he was throwing a punch, blah blah blah. No, I mean, I've seen too many incidents. It's gotten to the point, like my man Run PMC said, when I was talking about it on my post fight show, that it's just too many times for it to be considered an accident now. This is like 3 fights in a row where that I've seen where he's caused a laceration over the eye of his opponent due to headbutts. So for me, I don't respect that. I think he's a dirty fighter, and I don't think he should be allowed to fight anymore. I just don't. I feel like that referee should be fired as well. That Lopez fight, there was way too many intentional fouls, and he didn't even give him a hard warning like, hey, you do it again, it's a point. Like, we didn't even get that in the fight. And to me, that was criminal, man. That was absolute criminal. And that's exactly why Warrington, I won't even have him in my top 20 or 30. Like, for me, I don't even want to see the guy fight again. He's a dirty fighter, man. And yeah, and then Run PMC is right. And then the referee warned Lopez for something. Like, it was just it was an awful performance by the referee, and the British Commission really should be ashamed of themselves for allowing that to go on, man.
Man, I love the passion, and you're speaking nothing but facts, spitting that fire, man. Go ahead and quench your thirst, brother, because you're bringing that heat. And that's the thing about it. Like, he's been dirty so long. It's like I almost forgot, because sometimes fighters that they become quote unquote crafty as they get older and try to hold on to the belt, and they smart their opponents. But I never really remember or saw him as a slick guy or somebody that could outbox anybody anyway, or like overpower them. He wasn't like a power puncher. It's like he's always kind of been the dirty fighter, that managed to get favorable wins, favorable decisions, and get opponents that weren't able to adjust to his dirty tactics and style. And it's not, I know the UK fans support and love him, and support all their fighters, and I love that. I respect that about him. But you got to call a spade, and he's or a dirty fighter, and that's what Josh Warrington is, man. He's a dirty fighter. Now, you said you never want to see him fight again.
Yeah,
they announced El Blanco Lada 3. Are you in?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but right now we got our guest here. So let's go ahead and make way for. Oh, wait a minute. I think his screen went black. Maybe he's having a connection problem here. But we do got Anthony backstage. Let's see if we can get him. Let's see here. Anthony Peterson, you there? Oh, it says his device is not connected. So we'll give him a few minutes to get his connection going. But I don't know, man. I mean, as much as I would like to see Lada beat up Warrington,
and he would,
yes, because he's done it before. I just personally, I would just say, why fight him again? You beat him, you knocked him out the first time, and the second time he got really, really dirty. So let's get our guest on here, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Peterson.
What's up?
What it do?
Right.
How you doing, man?
Brother?
I'm blessed. How y'all doing?
We're good, man. We're good. We're glad to have you here with us.
I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely, man. So, Anthony, I want to ask you some questions. Me and my co-host here, we got some good questions for you tonight. And again, we appreciate you taking time out. We know you're right in the heat of training camp. So we definitely appreciate the time, man. So I want to ask you real quickly. I've been looking all week long, Anthony, all right? Do you have an opponent yet for this fight? You're going to be fighting on the Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia pay-per-view here in a couple weeks. Do you have an opponent yet, man?
Man, we went through another one, the sixth opponent. And it's been a story of my life, ladies and gentlemen. I want my fans and friends and family to know that it's not me. I'm in shape. If you look at my Instagram posts every day, I got a body of a teenager. I'm working every day, putting in the work. And I think that's what most intimidates to people, because when they say, oh, you're going to take a fight with Peterson, he's 37 years old, they thinking I'm sitting on the couch with a papa gut, asking mom to change the channel for me. You know what I mean? So when they see these things, they see my ferociousness, my intensity, and my hunger. it's like, nah. Even though they've been offering these guys nice pieces of pocket change as far as purses, and they like, nah, nah, nah. I'm like, wow. But like I say, this everything happens for its reasons. You got guys out here, champions, contenders, that ain't scared to get in the ring with me. I just got to get myself to that level. Just right now that these top guys that's not scared to get in it with me, they won't get no reward fighting me. You understand? So the risk
Yeah.
would be very high, but the reward would be very low. Because I'm like, you lost to a 37-year-old or 38-old Anthony Peterson, who hadn't fought since had a big fight since Brandon Rios. You know what I'm saying? It'll be that type of situation. Whereas though, if you beat me, you know what I'm saying, like I said, you won't get no props. You won't really get no money for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I'm just keeping it all the way 100. How does boxing go? And I don't blame them for that. Speaking from a promoter's perspective, I'm keeping my fighters away from me. You know what I mean? So I got to deal with what I know. So that's why it's not that stressful, because I really love boxing, and I know this is the way it goes. If I didn't know the way it goes, just like if you something biting your leg and you don't know what it is, you just looking like it's no parasite or nothing. But then it's a difference between you see a dog biting your leg. At least you know how to get that dog off your leg instead of just biting you all day. That's kind of like my situation right now. I know what's preventing me from getting these fights, but like I said, there's nothing I can really do about it until uh till 2023. I feel like that would be my year that I break out, where everybody gonna be lining up to fight me. Why? Because my celebrity status gonna be through the roof, courtesy of Freeway Rick Ross.
Mm.
Um, he's been doing. I got more than what I bargained for dealing with this guy, because I met like 7 to 9 different celebrities that's going to be at the fight event January 7th, taking pictures with me, reposting me, and stuff like that. So once my celebrity status get up to where my skill level is at, now we talking. So now these fighters be like, oh, I just seen him on Vlad TV with Rick Ross. Or I just seen
Mm.
him at the BET Awards with Rick Ross. I want to fight him. So if you knock me down, now all these celebrities gonna pay attention to you now. So that's what we
Yeah.
that's what we got to bring to the table. So, like I said, right now my life is boring. I don't have any things that's gonna make the tabloids or make the papers and make it sell for promoters. You know what I mean? Like everybody want to come see Anthony fight because he gonna spaz out in this interview, or he gonna smack somebody out, or he gonna strip naked, or do something that's out of the norm, that's out of my characteristic. That's gonna make me get likes and views. I ain't with that shit.
Got you, man. So, yeah, I could probably imagine how that is. So, I want to ask you this: being that you don't have an opponent yet, when it comes to training camp, I want you to explain to the fans what it's like training and preparing for literally the unknown. So, let
You
us know how that is.
What you do is you got to use your imagination. You fighting an 8-foot giant that's 1,000 pounds, and he's gonna beat your ass from post to post, and you got to prepare for that. So now when they give you an opponent, you like, oh, this guy, he 5'9", 5'10", skin, muscle, and bone, no metal. I'm about to walk through him. That's just how I get through. I don't know how. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories over the years from the mouth of Adrian Broner, Javante Tank Davis, Zab Judah, which I just got off the phone with like 5 minutes ago. True story.
Mm.
Floyd Mayweather, Tommy Hearns, Ray Leonard, all of these guys share stories with me about, how they overcome Mike Tyson, how they overcome their fears, or how they overcome tasks in their mind as far as boxing. You mean? And I took notes on all levels: OG, youngins, new school, old school, in town, out of town, downtown, uptown, whatever. It didn't even matter. I took the advice and I used it for my own.
Got you. So, one more question I want to ask you, and then I'm gonna pass it off to my co-host. He's got some great questions as well. But you mentioned your age a few minutes ago. You say
Mhm.
you're 38 now or 37?
I'll be 38 in March. I like 38. I'm geeking to be 38 because I will be great at 38.
Got you. Yeah, I'm 38 now myself. And I want to ask this question because, being that you are, 37, that's, not young for a fighter, but how does that like does that kind of bother you that you're at this age and that they don't have an opponent ready for you? Because we all know how the business works. If you take a loss here, it could be, this could be pretty much it for you if you take a loss. It's kind of like a now or never thing. So is that a little bit frustrating, being that you can't lock in an opponent and be laser focused on that one guy, being that, you know, you are at the advanced stage in boxing?
No, you only thing that's gonna frustrate you, only thing that can frustrate you if you let it. And like I
Okay.
said, I know what I signed up for. I know, like, just like in the morning, you breakfast, breaking the eggs, you know the taste, you know what you're getting into, you know exactly what it is. You know what I mean? And this is what it is. Zab Judah explained these things to me when we helped him get ready for Floyd Mayweather from February 28th of 2006 up until April 2nd of 2006. We were in this training camp. He explained these things to us like, you know, it's all good right now, but you never know when you get to that level, things get complicated. When them zeros start to add up and them paychecks, things start to get different. So I'm pretty prepared and well groomed for these moments like this. You know what I mean? And trust me, hopefully we will definitely have another conversation again sometime next year, late
Absolutely.
next year. And I'll be like, I told y'all. Even not saying that y'all don't believe me, but it's like, I have to prove that. And I can't wait because I know, like, I'm from a mother of 12 children, same mother and father. My genetic makeup is next to excellence. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't have any kids. I don't have any stress in my life. It's like it's like a tennis shoe. If you bought the same tennis shoe the same day. If I keep going to the basketball court, running up and down, running track, doing all up and down town, my shoe gonna have a lot of miles. It's gonna be wear and tear. But you only wear your shoe maybe like once every 2 weeks. So 9 years come down the line, your shoe gonna look way better than mine because the wear and tear. I've never been knocked out. I've never been cut. I've never been none of that in boxing. So my mileage is very low. I like to say that I'm a 1985 Bugatti with low mileage. And they didn't even make Bugattis back then. You understand? So that's
Oh,
very
I love
special.
that.
You know what I mean? So that's what
I
it
love
is.
that, man. Hey, I'm right there with you, man. Because like I said, we're about the same age, and I was just gonna ask you that question. Like, for me, man, I get up out of bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I feel every bit of 38. But like you said, you don't have a whole lot of wear and tear over your career, so that's great, man. I definitely look forward to seeing you perform on the undercard here with Tank and Garcia. So, Sean, go ahead, man. Go ahead and fire off some questions for Anthony.
No, definitely, man. Glad to be talking to you, Anthony, man. You look motivated, hydrated, and ready to go, brother. I like that. So where are you currently fighting out of? What gym?
I'm unattached right now. We everywhere, man. My brother Lamont Peterson, who is making his return to boxing January 7th as well. Right now we don't have a gym because of course our old gym was the Headbangers gym. Right. And we don't do business with them anymore for us with boxing, but they still cool. They still, you know, Patrice Hurst is my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister. And Patrick Hurst, who is 20 and he's my nephew. So we still keep in contact for our family, but for us boxing, we have no ties connected when it comes to boxing.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you mentioned so many names and you clearly look motivated and excited to show what you can do in your next fight. Who's your biggest supporter and why? You mentioned so many names. Who would you say is your biggest supporter and why?
Oh man, that's a deep question. My biggest supporter. You know, say what you want, and a lot of people I might get a lot of slack for this. A lot of people might say, "Ain't you tripping?" But I gotta say, Serafina. We're not doing business. And of course, you know, Rick loved me to death. Rick is my biggest supporter right now. But we talking about through my whole career, through my whole boxing career. I have to say, Serafina, man. Like, you know, even though we went through what we went through, but I gotta say, this woman, she really believed in me. She really loved me. She really would try to do her best to see me succeed. And it's crazy because when I took my first loss, she was the one who comforted me. She was the one who came to me and told me, she was literally crying, like she was broken. Like, man, she told me, like, it's not over. Like, I got you. Like, we can make this work. And she was sending me underground messages when I was still with Headbangers, sending me fights and stuff like, you want to take this fight? You want to take this fight? But I was under the tutelage and under the roof of Barry Hunter at the time, Headbangers, so I could make my own decisions for myself. Now I'm at the point in my career I can make my own decisions. But I definitely got to say, she definitely was one of my biggest supporters. You know, of course, my brother, he supported me from day one because my brother don't count because we blood, but we talking about outside of my family. Sir, I mean, I'm trying to search my mind to see who put more emphasis on and who promoted me the most, who talked about me the most. And every time I see somebody, they be like, man, Sir Fina always talking about you, man. Shorty, she love you, man. She woo, woo, woo. But like I said, just unfortunately we couldn't get it right on the business side of boxing. But she was responsible for me meeting with Rick. And ever since I met Rick, my career went in a whole different direction in a good way. You know what I mean, it went up. And I gotta thank her for that because, like I said, she was pulling. Definitely got me in the Devin Haney training camp. Got me a few rounds in with Devin just to get my name back out there. Let people know I'm still operating. Yeah. So that's she definitely one of my biggest supporters.
Man, that's awesome. Love hearing
Yeah.
that. I can hear the passion in your voice. And speaking of the passion in your voice, you seem extremely motivated. Like you fired up, man, like ready to unleash. You said
Oh yeah.
2023 is your
Oh yeah.
year. What keeps you so motivated? I mean, like what makes Anthony Peterson just so ready to show the world what he's all about?
Just watching boxing all day, man. Just just looking at just breaking down. I just love boxing, man. Like I said, my brother Lamont Peterson, he started us in, but I didn't know nothing about boxing because I used to win talent shows, and that's why I'm into acting. I am signed with ASAP Acting Agency. I do modeling and do stuff outside of boxing, but I got into boxing this heavy because of my brother Lamont Peterson. He was a big fan of Evander Holyfield, Pernell Whitaker. I don't know if y'all remember it was the famous poster with Pernell Whitaker, like, and it said robbed when he fought
Chavez?
Chavez. Yes.
Chavez?
Yes, he
Sports
fought
Illustrated,
Chavez,
yeah.
and he had his hand on his head. And I remember as a little boy, I used to always look at that picture. You know what I mean? And then I ended up meeting Pernell Whitaker. And like I said, I never knew you could have fun in boxing. I thought boxing was raw, 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 beat you up, be mad at each other. Pernell was smiling, pulling people trunks down, having fun. And that what made me believe like, oh, I could take my comedy and my art, my artistry and my ways and my acting skills into boxing, because this is the act. Boxing is just the act. When you go to these training camps, you be in no shape, but you act, you practice, you rehearsal like the Temptations, the Jackson Fives. They got those moves down like that because why? They practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
They worked on the same moves every day. And like I said, boxing is just the act because even I'm watching Charlo and Tony Hurst and all that rah 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 rah. As soon as over,
Yeah.
love you, man. It's all good, man. I got respect for you, man. So it's all the act.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
that competitive spirit, man, before the fight starts and even during the fight, but after, it's all respect,
It's
man.
all
Yeah.
respect.
All respect, definitely. So I got one more for you, Anthony. So I know it's not easy, but I can see the passion you talked about, all these people that have your support and what it means, and how fired up you are to return and show everybody what you're going to do in 2023. Is it possible? Can you try to do this for us? I know you're a man of many talents. Can you describe what it means to have the support of your supporters in one word? If so, what would it be?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like I said, because I was one of the ones who didn't believe in myself. I was always in my brother's shadow. I even heard family members at family cookouts that I walked up on telling me that I would never be able to lace up the same shoe as my brother. And these were the same guys, maybe 7 years later, telling me, man, hey, you the one. You know what I mean? I remember those days, but just it's unbelievable how many people believed in me, especially my brother. Because my brother Lamont, people don't know, man, he was born to do this. A lot of people characteristic, they mannerism fits a script. And boxing
Mm-hmm.
for him, I believe, everything how he's determined, very competitive, very puzzle solving. Like Lamont loved puzzles, love solving mysteries, and they love math. Very calculated, and that's why I think Lamont was the perfect guy for boxing, more so than myself. Because everybody always asks, "What's the difference between you and your brother?" And I always keep it simple. He'll die for this. I won't. And that's the bottom line. He would die for this, and I won't.
That's a
I
good.
love that, man. And your brother was one of I used to love to watch him fight. I still feel like he was robbed against Danny Garcia.
Yeah. And
I,
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
I still have my video up from years ago when that fight happened where I came on and complained about that. But
Yeah.
shout out to Lamont, man. I was always loved watching him
Yes.
fight. So
Solid. One of the most solidest dude I ever met in my life. And I ain't saying that just because he's my brother. It's just fortunate that he's 13 months older than me. and we come out of the family at 12, same mother and father. And he's special, man. Special guy, very special.
Yes, sir. So I want to ask you now a question about fighting on this card. Now, it's in Washington D.C. You guys are going to be. I can't remember the name. They changed the name of these arenas
Yeah,
like
it was
crazy
the
these
MCI
days.
Center. When
Yeah.
I fought there before June 11th, 2005, when Mike Tyson fought McBride. Then it was the
Mm.
Verizon Center. Then it was now it's the Capital One Arena.
Yeah, I remember MCI because I think that's when Jordan was playing for
Yeah,
the
Jordan was
Wizards when he
playing. Yes,
came
sir.
back. So
Absolutely right.
I always remember hearing that. So fighting there in your hometown on a big pay-per-view, Tank is guaranteed to sell out there in his hometown. But explain to us how preparing for a fight in your hometown is. Is it adding pressure or is it just a normal thing for you?
Yeah, it's normal thing for me. Actually, it's better because I don't like catching no planes and sleeping in hotel rooms
Mm.
and eating all that out food. I got a chef, my own bed, got my own TV, my own schedule. I know the traffic, I know the cuts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's perfect.
Yeah, that's cool. Like you said, you don't have to deal with travel and all that. I know some fighters, they can easily get distracted fighting at home, but you seem like you've gotten that stuff out of the way, and that's
Oh yeah,
great,
yeah, yeah.
man. That's
And
great.
people, a lot of my family, friends, and fans know I'm at this point. I've been doing this for 19 years now. They know when it's time. Leave me alone. They know. Everybody know. And I ain't got no new news in my camp or my circle. So everybody know that 2 week lock-in, which is this weekend. Uh unfortunately is Christmas weekend. I ain't gonna be able to attend none of the family functions. None. They know I'm gonna be in the house, isolated,
Hmm.
chilling, just having a good time, just studying, dissecting things, and looking at boxes from a whole different uh, eye goggle. And I don't want to feel like the way that the style that I'm bringing out is the best way or the only way. It's just a new way.
Nice, nice. And I hope you get an opponent soon, man, so you could
And
really lock
we
in
will.
on the style.
Like I said, this right here is nothing because, like I said, if you look at my career, a lot of times, even when Lamont for Earl Spence, I was on that card too. I didn't find out who I was fighting until like 4 days, well, 5 days before the fight. When Lamont fought Egner Santana, August the
Hmm.
8th, and at the Barclays Center, I ain't found out who I was fighting until 3 days before the fight.
Mm.
A variety of times in my life, times where I had a solid guy. He may fall out, injury may happen. Oh, we got to find somebody else. Or so, even one man, Bicky Bay, supposed to fought. He had real serious heart conditions. His physical, not mental, because Mickey was not scared to fight me. He had physical problems,
Yeah.
and for real, we both didn't want that fight, right? Not at that time because we felt like we was worth more money fighting each other. And
Yeah,
we,
that's
and
the
we was
thing. Yeah.
we was good friends and all that, but it's business. But we like if we can get more money and for a championship, let's do it that way. But we both didn't have full control of our careers at the time, so we had to make that move. And unfortunately, he had a heart condition that caused him to exit the bout.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough, man. So I want to ask you another question here about training, and then I'll pass it back to
Mhm.
Sean. But I really want you to. It's a two-part question. Explain to us, fans, about at least just break down a day of training camp for you, and also I really want to talk about making weight and what fighters have to sacrifice in making weight because it really irritates me when I see these fans on social media and even here on YouTube. They disrespect the fighters when they miss weight, but they just don't understand how difficult that is. I've had friends that fought professionally. I know what they've gone through, but it's always better coming from someone like you who is actually a professional fighter. So let us know what training camp is like and how difficult it is to make weight.
Man, if you ever been close to death before, then hello. Because I didn't watch even shout out to my boy Damon Nicholson. He fighting on the undercard as well. His fight is
Yeah.
televised. He's fighting. Y'all know who he fighting Boo Boo, and I hope my man do his thing. He one of the ones that almost lost his life cutting weight, and
Yep.
he tell his story, so it's no secret. Um, a variety of times I've watched people over the years cut weight the wrong way, and literally like almost and truth be told, August 2nd of 2017. I died. I literally died and came like if I'd rather been dead than to feel the way I felt. Because let me tell you, the day before August the 1st, it was like a little kid training camp out there. Like I mean, like a training camp, but like a little a day camp for summer kids. And I was letting the little kids swing on my muscles. They just was like, oh man, this guy like Superman. They were all in tune with me. I love kids. So the next day, it was the hottest day of the summer, August the 2nd, 2017. I still got the paperwork from the hospital in my bag. I sparred. I ran. This when they confirmed that me and Mickey Bay was fighting. Like it was 20 days away. I'm like, damn, I gotta fight Mickey Bay. Like, man, it's about to be rough. So I ran to the gym, sparred, did everything I needed. I was working. But as I'm working, I wasn't rehydrating. I wasn't educated as I am educated now. You know what I'm saying? With hydration, I didn't know nothing about this. You know what I mean? So I passed out. Not only did I pass out, I cramped out. I had no more fluids in my body. I literally fell out to the point was though my face was in the dirt and I couldn't move. My body was shut down. So they put me in a moving chair, a wheelchair, not a wheelchair, but a chair that rose. And they put me in there. They took me in the shower, and everybody who was handling me at the time was very oblivious to how to handle a situation like this, because they was doing things that was green that could have literally could have cost me my life. Putting cold water on me, and that shit shocked the shit out of me. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm drinking water, and I'm thinking that it's over. But because I drunk so much water so fast, trying to thinking that I'm gonna get the nutrients back, which is not true, I spit all of it up. And because I spit all of it up, my six pack turned into it was rearranged. Like somebody rearranged my six pack. My nephew, Patrick Harris, saw it. It looked like he saw a horror movie. He was like, oh my God, like he couldn't even stand to look at it. And then I passed out. I remember the walkie-talkies. I remember the ambulance coming in. But the thing that really broke my heart the most is when they was bringing me out on the gurney. Those kids the day before was watching that. They was like, hold up. Is that Superman the same guy that we was hanging on his muscles? And they all looked concerned. They was all like, oh man, like that's our guy. He going into the gurney. Like, and they bring me to the hospital. And keep in mind, it's the hottest day of the summer. So it's hot as hell outside. And when I go inside the facility, it's super cold. And keep in mind, I'm still wet from the boxing gym. I didn't put on any clothes. They just put me in a gurney and brought me there. So now I'm super cold. So now I get the shivering now. Like I'm shaking, like to the point was though, like, oh my God, like this guy's about to die. The concern was oh my goodness, it was horrible, man. The people at that hospital was horrible. And then so happily, the security guard name was Top Dog Williams, who fought the Klitschko brothers back in the day. He was a security at the hospital. And he screamed out, oh my God, do y'all know who that is? That's Anthony Peterson. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, what's wrong? He was so concerned. Like, and I'm in a gurney because he known me for be Superman, doing 15 rounds of sparring, doing 10 miles, all that stuff in one day. To see me in that gurney like that, it blew his mind. So they finally came and attended to me. But as I'm going back, I'm like, man, I'd rather be dead. And when they put them IVs in me and got me back, I kind of like went to sleep and I woke up. You know, in the hospital, it's white. Everything is white.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm in heaven. As I wake up, I'm like, I gotta be dead. Like, because there's no way in the world I felt the way I felt maybe 10 minutes ago when they put them IVs in me. It revived me. But I remember Barry Hunter was he came and touched my foot. And I looked up and the first thing I asked him was, am I dead? Because I promise you, brothers, everybody, sisters, brothers, uncles, whoever who's listening and watching this, that is nothing to play with. Because truth be told, we don't know how my organs gonna respond from that when I'm in my 50s and my 60s. You understand?
Yeah.
We don't know. That's why they took a full blood test. Like, we got to check your organs and make sure, because when you dehydrated like that, you could die easily. And I made it through. For now. You know what I mean? And I never experienced that again. But prior to that, I've done that maybe like 6 times. But this one was more severe than any of them. This one was the wake-up call, because the first time in my life, I said I'd rather be dead than to feel that shit. That was horrible. It was horrible, man. And
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I've heard some tough stories as well from some friends of mine, and it just really irritates me to hear the fans, really talk down on these fighters when they miss weight or they don't even attempt because they say, "Hey, look, I know I can't get there. I just can't." So, Sean, go ahead, man, with a few more questions.
Yeah, that was a tough listen, Anthony. So glad you're okay now, and you're definitely back and ready to show out in your next fight. So you're schooled in the art of boxing. You're versatile and you can fight different styles. But if you were to describe your styles for those that haven't had the pleasure of watching you fight, can you describe your style? How would you describe the Anthony Peterson style?
Water.
Mm.
Water. Bruce Lee, water. Take any shape
Yeah.
or any form, water. Just water. Nothing added, no ingredients, just water.
Yeah,
Just flowing
that's
with it.
cool, man.
Love
That's
that,
cool,
brother.
man.
Love it, love it.
You can call
So-
it
I'm a-
H, you can call it H2O, whatever, however you want to call it, but it's water.
That'll
I'm
work.
a
That'll
big
work.
Bruce Lee fan too, man. So
Yeah.
that
Yes,
made my
sir.
day right there.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, that's my guy there, Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali. That's my heart. When I say my prayers at night, and a lot of people, and this no disrespect to any religion, anything. Like a lot of people pray to Jesus Christ, Allah, whoever you believe in. I believe in, what I believe in. I believe in something, and I believe in a higher power. I believe in people that put in work before me, who sacrificed their lives, who showed us the way, who could have kept their stuff secret. Bruce Lee didn't have to tell people about that. He could have kept a lot of stuff to himself. So just paying homage to him when I'm in my prayers, he flashed my mind. I don't care if you white, orange, yellow, purple, or blue. If you got some type of influence in my life, I'm definitely gonna give you your props when I pray. And that's facts.
That's awesome.
There it
man.
is.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that passion. So, you talked about showing out and showing up, and in your next fight coming up, and making this your year coming up, and the support you have around you. But what is your goal? What is a good 2023 look like for Anthony Peterson? Like when you say, "Okay, I did my thing," what does that mean to you?
Okay. Now let me put you up on something real quick. In this, on not only 2023, but this is what I'm chasing total my whole career. Because it could be 2023 and I have to retire after that. But let me explain why. I've been around boxing for a long time. I've been watching boxing. I can take you all the way back to the 20s. Well, actually, I can take you back to 1908, December the 2nd. Jack Johnson days. I've watched every generation. I've watched every superstar each generation. I've watched performances of each generation. I truly believe that I'm not going to be maybe not even a world champion, not a multi-world champion, not a superstar world champion. But I truly believe, and I say this in all my interviews, I'm putting that energy out there. I truly believe that I'm going to have the best performance in the history of boxing. And I will have to retire right after that because my dancing partner that I'm going to have is going to be the perfect one to expose this thing on. And I just believe that looking that good, the way I'm going to look, I have to retire after that because anything I put out after that, it's going to be like, oh, Ann ain't got it no more. That's just a one-hit wonder, or it'll never happen again, like a beautiful shooting star. You know what I mean? I truly believe that I'm going to have that outer body experience where I will be able to go to the arena, get nachos and soda, and sit in the stands and watch myself perform. You understand?
No, definitely.
And how I know this is possible because it happened in sparring before. I literally was over top of the ring, watching myself like a video game, controlling everything, everything, and that's how I know that these things are it's possible, and that's my biggest motivation to have that outer body experience, to subconsciously operate on a level where it's never been done before.
Wow.
Nice, man.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Man.
So one more question I got for you, Anthony, and then we'll let you go. We know training camp is in full effect right now, and you need your rest. I know it's late where you're at as well, and I do appreciate you coming on, man, for sure.
Oh, no
So my
problem,
last
man.
question is a fun, man, for the fans, because this channel here has got a lot of hardcore boxing fans subscribe to it. And your fight with Brandon Bam Bam Rios years back was just a sensational fight, man. It doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. I feel like it's a modern day classic, man. So just let us know what it's like to fight a guy like Rios, who I feel gets a little bit of a bad rep in the community. But at the time, he was very fresh. He was a pressure fighter. He wasn't very scientific about the pressure he applied, but he was a tough son of a bitch, and he gave just as good as he took. So let us know what that fight was like and what it's like fighting someone who, when you're hitting him with some of your best punches and he keeps coming and then giving some of his best punches, let us know what that's like, man.
Well, being in that ring that night with Brandon Rios was the best experience that I ever experienced in boxing. Not from a feel-good standpoint. I needed to feel everything I felt that night. But if y'all remind me about 5 minutes of your time, I'm going to break this down for you real quick.
Sure.
This Brandon Rios situation. Now, a lot of people don't understand that before this Brandon Rios situation, a lot of things happened to me outside of the ring and in the ring. And these are documented facts. So it's nothing that right now that I'm making up. I fought March 11th of 2010. And it's crazy that I ended up losing to Brandon Rios September 11th of 2010. I was the second twin tower of the Petersons to fall. But we'll get to that. I fought in Texas. I was signed with Top Rank. I was 29-0 with 19 knockouts. I was 25 years old. Now follow me on this. And I know there's a lot of hardcore boxing fans on here, like you said. Imagine this. Being 29-0 at the prime of your career. Never had a TV mishap. Never had a knockdown. Never been exposed. Been doing my thing. And been I was ranked number 1 in the WBC for like 9 months at this point. Did you know that Top Rank had me fighting? I was 29-0 with 19 knockouts. The people that were on the card, who was the main event on the card, was 18-4, 12-3, 35-9, and stuff like that. Sam Peter was on the card as well. Imagine being in the ring. They said the introduction. Anthony Peterson introduced his name. You know how when the referee looking at the seconds and he ring the bell. Okay, the referee didn't ring the bell. The referee didn't ring the bell. The referee didn't ring the bell. So 2 minutes go past. We're like, what the hell is going on? Did you know they didn't even have the fucking doctor in there, bro?
Oh, so wow.
Yes. No. Let me tell you. This is true story. We had to get out of the ring, go in the back, and wait for the doctor to come. So by the time 30 minutes to go past, my hands are numb now for bending them hand wraps.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm about to say, man, blow this, man. I'm not doing this. Take this off me. The doctor come back and say, all right, bring him out. Like we was a piece of meat. All right, bring him out. So we come out. I stopped the guy in the 3rd round. So that makes me 30-0 with 20 knockouts now, 25 at 25 years old. Nobody said nothing. Like Top Rank, what are y'all doing? You have a fighter like this. You bring me on the West Coast, on the Southwest, and make me the first fight. You take me from this event, and then right after that, Manny Pacquiao fought Joshua Clottey the next day at the Texas State. We drove to the stadium. They put up on that big screen, Anthony Peterson will be fighting Humberto Soto June 5th at the Yankee Stadium on the Miguel Cotto undercard for the WBC championship. And I was in awe. I was like, wow. Like everybody saw it. Michael Irvin, all of these guys, people that was there, they was like congratulating me like, man, good luck. I went from fighting in that little arena, the first fight, nobody there, to the next supposed fight in the Yankee Stadium June 5th. So keep in mind, when they told me that I was fighting for the championship, I had 12 weeks to prepare. I was going to break each round down for each week. The first week, 1 round. The second week, the second round. I was going to have that thing down to perfection. So the 8th week I come to the gym. I noticed the intensity was kind of dead in there because 2 weeks prior to this, I'm on my Mayweather dosage. Bring extra sparring partners in. I want different sparring partners moving in. I don't want to take a break. Like I'm feeling like Apocalypse from X-Men. I'm feeling like so just indestructible. So I tell Burry, I say, how many rounds you want me to do today? I'm Ant. He looked at my brother Lamont Peterson, who was sitting at the edge of the ring, tying his shoe. My big brother couldn't even look me in my eyes and tell me what he was about to tell me. He said, "Yeah, man. They said you're not fighting for the championship." I said, "What?" And I'm thinking it's a joke. I'm thinking that they was going to just saying if I'm go to the wayside. But I'm like, why would they play? They know I've been waiting for this my whole life. And Top Rank didn't send me no, from what I know, I didn't get no step aside money. I didn't get no Christmas card. I didn't get anything. They just said that you're not fighting for the championship. They were talking about it on BET, radio stations, everywhere, that I was about to fight June 5th at the Yankee Stadium, but they just stripped me from that, and nothing happened after that. And they bring me to, then I'm about to bring you to July 23rd of 2010 on a Saturday morning, when Burry called me and told me that, all right, hey, look, they want you to fight Brandon Rios on HBO for $75,000. I'm like, bet. But in my mind now, I already quit boxing because I went to the streets. Because I was literally bagging up marijuana to take it uptown where I'm from to make profits off of it. True story. And if you look at your calendar, Saturday morning, July 23rd, fell on a Saturday morning. I can't forget it. 2010. And I was like, cool, bet. I was in no type of fight spirit. Was in no type of man, let's do this, let's get this back. I was just 30-0, living on 30th Street with 30 bad habits. And that's when my documentary come out sometime next year. You know how ESPN got that 30-30?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have the 30-30-30 because I was 30-0 at the time, living on 30th Street in Southeast, which is the most notorious streets you ever want to live on, as far as crackheads, drug pushers, killers, villains, all that type of situations. I was living on that block on the front line. And so now we go into this 9/11 fighting Brandon Rios. I knew Brandon Rios from the amateurs. I knew Mickey Bay and them used to beat him up at 125. But what we didn't know is he hooked up with Robert Garcia. And he got married. He changed his life and he got focused. Now, don't look at the fight. Look at the handlers. Look at Brandon Rios, who he got over there. He got Antonio Margarita, who was caught loading up gloves. He got Fernando Vargas, who got caught steroids. And like I said, I'm not verbally bashing anybody. I'm speaking facts here. And he got Robert Garcia, who's a two-time world champion, a coach who knows the tricks of trade of the game. Now you look over in my corner. We got the head trainer, who's never been in an amateur or pro fight ever in his life. We got my brother-in-law, Patrice Hurst, at the time. He was the assistant coach. And we got another coach who was an amateur coach. And we got another guy who was a pimp from around the way. A real pimp. And this is what we're working with. And we expect him to go in there and perform on a level where as though elite, it was Bush League. If you can see Brandon Rios pacing back and forth before the fight, if y'all ever get a chance to look at that fight again, don't look at the fight. Look at the before. Look at how all of them in his ear telling him the same thing over and over again. How focused he was. Now look over in my corner. How unfocused I was. Looking outside of the ring, looking who's there. Just looking around, intoxicated off a 30-0 record because I'm so used to getting halfway shape, beating people. I'm like, oh man, this Brandon Rios. I haven't seen him get beat up a few times. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and box this bum. Wake up call. And all of us got caught with our hand in our pocket. And the thing that bothers me the most, that I was specifically blamed. This is all on my coaches blamed me for everything when that fight. Everything. And everything that went wrong was all on me. It was Anthony was doing that. So over the years of my career, my handlers was talking more about the Brandon Rios situation, more so what's the next move for Anthony Peterson. You understand what I'm saying? That is frustrating shit to have to keep reliving this moment over and over and over and over again. And then there's nothing happening for you. Now, hold on. Now you got to watch the youngest that looked up to you come up and win world championships in your gym. I've watched Adrian Broner come to the Headbangers gym and win a world championship. I watched Robert Easton come to the Headbangers gym and win a championship. I watched Rashid Warren come to the Headbangers gym and get pay-per-view fights. I watched Jamil Herring come to the Headbangers gym and get cameras and championship fights and all that. I watched Lamont Peterson, my own brother, get world championship fights and all of this. I've watched Sean Porter come to my gym and get big fights with Earl Spence and Danny Garcia. I've watched Austin Trout fight both of the Charlo brothers twice in my gym. Did you know when I'm in the gym training this whole time, people was coming to visit me like I was a fucking exotic animal in a exotic fish in the aquarium. Man, you haven't fought yet, bro? Man, like, what the hell is going on? And me and any fighter out there that's listening to this, that's the worst thing you can do is put somebody in charge of your career and not speak up. You have to talk. If anything that you're feeling that's wrong in your career, if you feel it's not going the way that you want to go, you have to speak up. Because nobody's going to speak up and feel the urgency like you feel. It's not going to happen. So that's what I was dealing with. I was dealing with a lot of things. Like I said, they never explained to me why the fuck that I didn't fight for the WBC championship. 30-0, 25 years old with 20 knockouts. And I'm signed with a major network, which was top rank at the time. I'm trying to understand what the hell went wrong. And then I was informed by my handlers, hey man, don't talk about that when you do interviews. Don't that's the past. But why is it the past on interviews, but it remains the same when we talking, oh, tell these youngins how you blew your trip to success when you let Brandon Rios take your situation. Like literally, like, because if you look at it, they blew up after that.
Yeah.
Robert Garcia and them blew up after that. Brandon Rios go beat Acosta. He beat Army Lothar on the undercard of a pay-per-view fight. Then he ended up fighting the guy, Acosta for the belt.
Yeah. A good fight against Mike Alvarado too, as well. Yeah. So
big fights. And then end up fighting Manny Pacquiao in China, which he ended up catching a dirty Ewan, which people don't talk about or understand that he tested positive for illegal substance. But it wasn't blown up because he lost the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, there's a lot of things, man. When my documentary, my story come out, a lot of people will be the questions that I know that you and everybody else had, because I can feel the energy through this podcast. Everybody want to know what the fuck happened in that fight. What led up to that? And I'm telling you, I have nothing but the truth, even with my own ass in the blender, about everything that went down that night and prior to that. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, thank you for letting us know all that stuff, man. That's you dropped a lot of stuff, man, on us there. But I definitely, and I want to say this from a fan's perspective, because that's all I am. I'm just a fan. When I see fighters put it all on the line, like the way you two did, right, at the time, and somebody takes a loss, it is what it is, man. We just got to give the fighters their due and their respect for getting in the ring and putting it on the line like that and giving us a fun fight, which it was. You guys threw a lot of punches at each other, a lot of good exchanges in that fight. And again, it was entertaining. So we just got to give the fans, the fighters, their credit for giving us, the fans, the fights that we want, man. And that's really, I feel like, the way it should be at the end of the day.
Well,
Oh, we lost the audio there. Can you hear us?
Yeah, somebody tried to call me.
Okay.
If everybody had your thought, your generosity, your heart, which I feel is sincere, we won't be having this conversation right now. You know what I mean? So
right.
But I appreciate everything, man. I appreciate the love. You know what I'm saying? I feel as I'm a junior high school dropout, but I have a serious, the highest degree you can ever think of when it comes to street knowledge and comes to human behavior. I'm excellent at that. You know what I mean? And I feel like I said, like right now, and I feel like what you said was genuine and you really meant that. So
absolutely, man. Yep. We don't, here on this channel, we don't throw fighters under the bus when they take a loss, especially when it's a fight that the fans asked and wanted, and that's really all we can do, man, is just give you guys your due when you give us the fights that we want. And you are going to have, you're going to be on a big card here in a couple weeks next month. And we wish you nothing but the best, man. Good luck in that fight. And we love to have you back on too.
Y'all know how to get in contact with me. Y'all get in contact with me through Mike, Freeway Ricky, or you can follow me on Instagram, Peterson Anthony 808. I'm down for all this, you know what I mean? Because we helping each other. I get my message out there. You can get more viewers to hear different. Like I said, the way I look at boxing is not the best or the only way. It's just a different way. That's it.
Yes, sir.
So y'all can get me back anytime y'all want to, man.
Yes, I'll definitely reach out to Mike again, and we'd love to have you on, Anthony. And again, good luck on the undercard there with Tank Davis fighting in front of your hometown in DC. It was going to be a big live crowd, man. So nothing but the best, man. Let's give Anthony a hand, guys.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, man.
Yeah, have a good night, man.
Cool.
Anthony Peterson. Wow, what an interview, man. He dropped a lot of shit on us on that one, man. That was great.
Man, it was a lot to process, man, but it was good. Definitely genuine, raw, authentic emotion, and some behind the scenes, way behind the scenes. I mean,
yes.
He went the 30 for 30 route on us, and really just kind of let us know the mindset and mentality of a fighter, and how sometimes it's truly about the timing, because you want a fight obviously at your peak as far as your support and your physical prowess, but sometimes when the fight comes, you got to take it. You may not be where you want to be. And I love how he was talking about the support around Brandon Rios at the time, and looked like what it meant. And he talked about support from the beginning. So it talks about, this is a sport for individuals, but it's a one that really does require a team effort to help get them where they need to be. So I love that. It was really insightful.
Yes, it is, man. And those are the type of interviews that I'm going to be conducting here on this channel. Yeah, I mean, I seen Anthony on a lot of other channels, and they asked him about sparring Devin Haney, and I believe he sparred Tank and a few other guys, but I want to talk about him and his career,
right,
and how things are going with him in his training camp. The fact that he doesn't even have an opponent yet, and he's going to be fighting on a big card in his hometown, all that other stuff. When we have him come back, we'll ask him about those other things. But right now, he's got a fight. We'll ask him about the fight, ask him about his preparation and things like that. So, that's what I really am interested in here on this channel. The sparring sessions, I can go without, but we'll definitely have him back on and ask him some of those questions as well. But Ringo, before we wrap it up, man, did you get to finish your top 10 in the featherweight division or not? I can't remember.
No, I just about had finished it out, because I got to 9. I got to Patufo Diaz, and then for 10,
we'll go like this. Let's go. We'll do another top 12, I guess. So we'll do another 2, and then we'll wrap this one up. So,
oh man, number 2. Okay, so I believe for number 10, I had Dogbo.
Mm-hmm.
So, bruh. Let's go with number 11. Let's go with Michael Conlon. All right, and then number 12, I'm gonna go with. Damn, this one's kind of tight. You know what?
If you want to give me 2 more names, that's fine. Go right ahead, man.
Okay. I just like watching this brother fight, man. I'm a big fan of Joet Gonzalez. And then I'll say Adam Lopez. So damn, I went 13. Man.
That's fine.
Lucky 13.
It's all good. It's all good.
They have that much talent in the division. You guys should check it out. 126, man. I'm telling you.
126.
We're not lying to you. We're not lying to you at all.
126 is hot, man. It is hot. And I want to say, I round out my top 10 with Colin just outside. I mean, just right there, hanging on to the 10th spot in the division. Right behind him, I got a guy who has been ruled out several times, but has come back, and he just beat a prospect, one of Eddie Hearn's prospects over in the UK, and that's Kiko Martinez from Spain.
Yeah,
I have him at number 11. I felt like he's, he can do some things still, man. He's not done yet. And on any given night, I think he can beat just about anybody. Maybe not some of the champions, but maybe a few guys in the top 10 he could definitely have some action against. And then rounding out my top 12, I'd have to give it to Joet Gonzalez. Like I said, I feel like he really let one slip away in the Dog Bay fight. I mean, it was a good fight. Don't get me wrong. But I felt like that was a fight that he definitely needed to win. And not only win, but just stand out in the win, shine in the win. You know, there was a lot of rumblings about Dog Bay getting, like I said, getting towards the end of his career on the downslide. Hoet was supposed to take care of that, but credit to Isaac Dog Bay. He's a dog. He didn't give up in that fight, and he earned himself a victory. And now he's a top 10 fighter, you know? So Hoet, he's 2 spots outside of the top 10 on my list as far as fighters in 126. So that's the way I see it, man. But I mean, there's still a lot of good fighters that we didn't even name off. There's a Ruben Villa who's been inactive, who I really like. There's James Dickens. I know that Santa Cruz is not there anymore. Magdaleno, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He was supposed to fight recently, but he pulled out of a fight. Raymond Ford is another young up-and-coming fighter at 126 that a lot of people haven't said anything about. So still a lot of really good fighters here. You named off Adam Lopez. So this division, man, has got a lot of names, and there could be potential for a lot of great fights, man. It's just, will boxing give us to us, man? You know, that's really the question, you know?
Yeah, and usually the answer is going to be hell no. But I think that things are going to kind of happen by happenstance. It's organically going to happen because they'll have no choice. Guys are going to recognize the fact that, hey, I got to shake things up and take a chance and take a fight that maybe be a little bit risky. I know from an interview that stands out to me that, you know, Riddick Bowe said that all fighters, no matter how good or, you know, they all know who they can beat, who they can probably beat, and they should probably stay away from. So, you know, a lot of these guys are probably knowing who they should probably stay away from, but they also know that if they want to make their mark, they're going to have to take that chance. And I think that's what we're going to have to eventually see. Somebody's going to break through and, you know, challenge one of these guys with a belt, and I'm up for it.
Yep, I agree, man. And yeah, so that's gonna wrap this one up, guys. This has been a tremendous show. I promised my man Sean Gringo Hicks that if I was to talk about the featherweight division, that I would have him on, and I kept my word, you know. And also we got the Anthony Peterson interview, which was a tremendous interview. I had a lot of fun talking with him, and I definitely look forward to seeing him on the 7th on the Tank Davis versus Hector Luis Garcia undercard, and also in the future after the fight. I'll definitely reach out to his PR again, and we'll get him on and we'll talk to him again. So Gringo, any last words? And don't forget, plug the channel and your social media, all that good stuff, brother. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Oh, I got excited, locked out my headset. But yeah, thanks for checking out the show, man. Definitely support this brother, man. G Funky's talking that real boxing. This was a great interview. It was great to be a part of. Definitely check out Anthony Peterson, man. He's got a great story, and he's clearly willing to tell it. So I love that, and I respect that about him. And good luck to him going forward. You know, anybody that has that much passion about anything, especially boxing, you know, they got my respect. So he's definitely got mine. As far as from myself and my brother, shout out to Hopper Dominguez, Manny Marrero. We're doing our thing. Go to longwithboxing.com. All of our social media is there. You can see all of our content. We try to do recaps at 12 p.m. on Sundays. You know, not this Sunday, but you know, typically we do them on Sundays. It'll be 9 a.m. Pacific time. But yeah, we appreciate the support. Support everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much, and you guys have a blessed night. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays.
There you go, man. And I appreciate you coming on. I know it's a little bit earlier than we usually do it. You're over there in the Central Time Zone. I'm in the Pacific Time Zone, so it's a little bit easier for me. So I definitely appreciate you, Sean, for coming on. Again, guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and share this interview. Get it around. Share it to your social medias. If you want to follow me on social media, they're up there. There's the Instagram. There's the Twitter. If you would like to donate, it's over there. I would appreciate that. Again, all donations go to the production, to the shows, and all that good stuff. So, you know, I appreciate everyone's support. I am in talks with a gym trainer right now for the 2nd episode of Gym Chronicles. I'm just waiting to lock in the date and time, and then I will make the announcement for that. So again, make sure you guys are there for that. Those are going to be some of the show. A lot of shows I'm going to be doing in the next year. So be on the lookout for that. Also, next week we have Franco versus Ioka for the WBA super flyweight title. That's going to be on early in the morning, so I will be covering that early, but I also will be on in the afternoon to do my my year recap, fighter of the year, fight of the year, trainer, all that good stuff. We'll be doing that. And also appreciation for all of you guys who have been here, all my new subs and all my subs that have been here for a long time. So don't miss that one as well. So, and again, subscribe to Long Live Boxing here on YouTube. All right, guys. So this has been fun. Sean, once again, thank you. Thank you to Adrian. I'm going to say Adrian Peterson. Anthony Peterson. Get it right, man. All right. And all you guys who watch this live and who watch it in the archive. This is G Funky Boxing. And for Sean Gringo Hicks, we are out. See you guys on the